I was newlywed to a gentleman of means. My ticket out of these rotten boroughs into an infant society where I could establish myself without fear of being judged by my past. And yet something tugged at me as we drove towards Southampton. A deep-seated urge to seek shelter, to be happy with my meager lot in life, rather than to forge ahead haplessly into the unknown. I banished these thoughts from my mind as best I could, willing myself to focus on the cradle of New York City, which awaited mine and Robert's arrival some 5,000 kilometers away. I was one of the lucky few afforded the opportunity to travel on the RMS Titanic. I was curiously uncertain about many things, but I knew without a doubt this would be a journey I wouldn't soon forget.
Good morning, sir and madam. Welcome aboard the pride of the White Star Line RMS Titanic. May I have your boarding passes, please?
Of course. Here you are.
Ah, Mr. Ashley, an honor, sir. And madam?
Robert, don't you have my boarding pass?
No, I gave it to Montague. He was to give it to you.
Well, he didn't. At least, not that I remember.
Mr. Ashley, madam, perhaps you could step aside until you find madam's pass.
Have you found your pass yet, my dear? I need to get settled and have a bath.
Montague, do you have my boarding pass?
Margie?
Mother? What on earth are you doing here?
I came here looking for you, Margie, to beg you not to go to America.
Mother, we've discussed all this. I have a new life now, a husband.
Oh, yes. You mean the husband what made you renounce your own blood? How could I forget?
We'll be back for a few weeks this winter. If you insist, we can discuss this further then. Right now, I have to find my boarding pass.
If I may, madam, I have both of our boarding passes right here. Just a moment. They're gone. It was that boy. That boy stole them.
I believe that crate is full of cigarettes bound for the New World. It looks tightly sealed. Little boy, did you steal some papers from that man over there?
What? I never did nothing.
What's your name?
George.
George. That's a pleasant name. I don't want to hurt you, Georgie, I promise. Why don't you just give me the papers back and we'll leave it at that.
Get stuffed, lady.
George, get out of that car this instant!
No, you can't make me.
I only want to speak to you properly. What if I gave you a present? Would you like that?
got any cigarette cartons?
No, and even if I did, I wouldn't give them to a little boy. I'm convinced they're not good for you.
What I want cigarettes for? I want the little cards what come in the packages. I've bought almost 50 already. I'm going for a full set.
That worked like a charm. I'll just grab the cards out of the cartons before anyone notices the mess. Ten should do the trick. George can't possibly have all of these. Here you are, George. Now can you return what you stole, please?
What I want with a bunch of lousy papers? The other ones what took 'em.
The other one?
The other one's there, the lady. I saw her pick up the papers while the old bloke was busy beating on me.
Give me back my boarding pass, Mother.
What? Oh. Oh, well, I did find a boarding pass, come to think of it. Is it yours? Oh, dear me, I'm so very sorry. There you go.
I can't believe you, Mother. Give Montague back his as well.
Well, I only found one. If, as you say, there was a second pass, it must have blown away.
Oh, dear, oh, dear. I'd best pop off to the ticket office and purchase another pass. The ship's about to leave port.
Well, I'll be going myself. Must take my medication. So long, Margie. Farewell. Have a good trip. I'll see you come winter.
I can't do that.
Ah, thank you, madam. All appears to be in order, and good thing, too. It would have been a shame to miss out on such an historic voyage.
Indeed. I fancy a bit of lunch. Care to dine at the Café Parisien?
I'm not hungry at the moment. I'd just like to spend some time settling in if it's all the same to you.
Not a problem. You know where I'll be if you need me.
Seems the little fellow just doesn't want to let go of that perch. This looks like a nice place to perch. My fingers are not quite slender enough to grab hold of the notch. There's nothing embarrassing about that.
Ah, you've arrived. I ordered without you. I didn't think you were coming.
That's quite all right. I'm not feeling well anyway. I've no appetite at all.
Perhaps you just need to get your sea legs. Might take a while. But do try and act yourself by this evening. We'll be dining with the captain. any better?
I'm surely on the mend, but still a bit wonky.
We'll snap out of it already. We're meant to remember this journey for something other than your delicate nature.
I'm in no mood for a proper lunch with Robert, but a boiled egg might hit the spot. Too bad reaching into that water would scald my entire arm. Ah, yes. I'd forgotten about this false bottom. I can't for the life of me remember what I stored there. What have we here? A secret passage? I'm an inquisitive kind of girl. Let's see where this leads.
I'm Dean Tavalouris, and you've entered my private sanctum, one that I designed into the plans from this ship's very inception.
You designed this ship?
Well, not exactly. I was employed as an assistant shipwright. I was placed in charge of all the less glamorous aspects of shipbuilding. Plumbing, cargo holds, engines, that kind of thing.
Ah, so you slipped in a little private stateroom for yourself, and now you're a stowaway on your own ship. Is that it?
What I have built here is a network of halls between halls, that I may bear witness to history in the making. I silvered mirrors on several decks so that I can see out, but nobody can see in.
To each his own, I suppose. I'll be leaving now.
Most certainly. Oh, but you cannot leave the way you came in, I'm afraid. One-way door.
I should have guessed as much. So how do I get out of here?
Down the second hallway. There's another mirrored door which opens into the first-class parlor. Just try not to be seen leaving, or we'll both end up in the stockade.
I think I see some matches under there. If I'm going to be walking around in these tunnels, I'll need a lot of them. That should do it. If I end up needing more than this, that will mean I've really lost my way.
My dear girl, do be careful when you're wandering about in these tunnels.
That must be the door Mr. Tavalouris was talking about. There are some people standing on the other side, so I can't use it. I could probably make out what they're saying to each other if I tried. Maybe if I put my ear against the mirror.
But of course, it never came to pass because what was that? Did you see that?
See what?
I swear I saw some motion behind that mirror.
That man could see me when I got close to the mirror. I'd best not try that again. recognize this crate from the dock. It's got a lock on it. But randomly guessing at the combination would be fruitless. I closed the vent. I need to use that in a different way. It's a ventilation shaft. Sounds like there is a fan behind these grates. I opened the vent. I closed the vent. That opened the valve. That closed the valve. I need to use that in a different way. That isn't its intended purpose. That opened the valve. I closed the... I opened the vent. There's nothing left to do. I closed the vent. I need to use... That opened the valve. That closed the valve. That opened the valve. I've routed the steam into the next room. The steam fogged up the mirror. Maybe now I can get close enough to listen to their conversation without being spotted.
It's a priceless mummy of the pharaoh Menkaure. That's why it's secured with a combination lock. I used my birth date as the combination. The month, the day, and finally the year.
That's probably not a smart thing to tell me. I'm psychic, you know. I could easily guess your birthday.
I don't see how that matters. If you're truly psychic, you'd know the combination regardless of whether it was my birthday.
March 21st.
Not even close.
Right. But the month's got an A in it. Or an E.
Actually, no. Forgive me for saying so, but you're not very good at what you do. I will tell you that if you take the number of letters in the month times itself, you'll get the day.
Tut tut. Say no more. I have it sussed. So, what year were you born?
That's an impertinent question to ask a lady. Nevertheless, my lack of confidence in your ability is such that I would gladly part with that information. I was born in 1867.
I closed the vent. Now that I have a little more information, let's see if I can decipher the combination to this lock. A sarcophagus. It looks thousands of years old. I think I'll hang on to the shroud that was covering it. That opened the valve. I've routed the steam into the next room. That set off an alarm. I'd best make myself scarce.
Excuse me for interrupting.
Oh, not at all.
It's just that the heat sensor in hold number 4 went off, and the captain thought you should be alerted.
Hold number 4? Menkaure is in hold number 4. I've got to be sure it's okay. Excuse me, both of you.
At last. I'd better sneak out while I can.
Ah, Mrs. Ashley, I've found you. I witnessed an event below deck a short time ago which I thought would be of interest to you.
Pray tell.
Well, I was endeavouring to check in some of Mr. Ashley's valuables with the ship's purser when I chanced to see a middle-aged woman arguing with a steward. She was demanding to be allowed up to the first-class cabins.
Please don't tell me it was my mother.
I'm afraid it was.
The schemer. She had your boarding pass, after all. I need to find her and have a word. You said the steward escorted her back to steerage.
Yes. However, I'd imagine they would be no more inclined to let a young, upper-class woman down into steerage than they would allow your mother up here.
Then I'll simply have to find a way to sneak down.
Mrs. Ashley, I trust your day is going well.
As well as can be expected, thank you. I don't recognize that game you're playing. Might I ask what it's called?
I haven't the slightest idea. That fool psychic Janeck said that if I wished to get a proper reading from him, I had to first separate his spirit deck into 2 separate chakric spheres. Spirit deck, indeed.
Did he tell you how?
Oh no, that would be too easy. He gave me this temporal oracle, which I might add looks exactly like a poorly made pocket watch, and said the hands would guide me. The fool. Would you care to give it a try? I can't make head nor tails of it.
Yes. All right.
Let me take a quick look. You did it! Thank you so much. It seems so elementary in hindsight. I'd better go find Janeck, which won't be difficult. He calls himself a medium, but I'd say he's more of a large.
Anytime, Odette. Good luck. Odette left a tea cake behind. I'm sure she won't mind if I put it to good use. I've nothing to collect it with. It'll just fly everywhere. George, what are you doing up here?
I didn't do nothing, and you can't prove that I did.
Oh, really? You didn't make this mess.
Oh, no. Someone took me favorite book. Went right off of it. I ain't going nowhere till I get it back. Me book ain't there. Already checked. Best look someplace else.
Is this the book, George?
Oi, that's it! I knew they had it!
Well, that's a happy ending then. So are you going to clean up this mess before you run off to read? Marvelous. Gets what he wants and off he goes. Guess I'll have to clean up. There, snug as a bug. Oops, a library card fell from one of the books. I'll hang on to it for the moment.
Where to, ma'am?
F deck, please.
I'm sorry, ma'am. F deck is for third-class passengers only.
This should help me learn which buttons get pressed. Oh, I'd better not. It'd wipe away the powdered sugar. I've done all I can at the moment. It's a tub full of life jackets. Hopefully we won't have any use for them on this trip. I've nothing left to... There's nothing left to do here.
Good evening again, ma'am.
F deck, please.
Begging your pardon, but I can't take a high-class lady such as yourself into steerage. It would mean my job.
I've done all I can at the moment. Could you bring me my coat, please?
Of course, Mrs. Ashley. Wait here. I won't be a moment. Mrs. Ashley, begging your pardon, I can't seem to find your coat.
Oh, not a problem. Montague must have collected it already. Thank you for looking.
My pleasure.
That did it. Let's see what required such impenetrable protection. Now, let's see what looks good. Or more accurately, bad on me. My sense of style is second to none. Wow, they must have thought it was a dead animal. Which is just about what it looks like now.
Where to, ma'am?
F deck, please.
Of course.
Hello again, George. Say, do you remember the lady back at the dock who took the boarding passes?
Yeah, but wish I hadn't. She keeps telling me what to do. She ain't me mum. You ain't me mum neither. Why you wanna know?
She's my mother, and she's the most important thing in my life.
What's in it for me?
Well, what could I possibly do for you, George?
I lost me game. Dropped it somewheres around here. If you can find it, I'll help you.
Your game? What does it look like? What type of game?
You hold it in your hand and try to get these little balls to go into the little holes. It ain't no bigger than a cigarette carton.
Titanic is big, but surely not big enough for a golf course. Perhaps it is used merely to hit practice balls into the sea. I've spread the wrapper over the writing surface. That isn't its intended purpose. I managed to hook a piece of coal with the head of the club. It's rather powdery. It's getting dust all over my hands. I'd guess that's somebody's locker combination. Bingo! That was much easier than guessing at every possible combination. Of all the games available here, I think fishing is most my speed. Hopefully no one will miss a single rod. Got the distance down, now I just need to improve my aim. Got the distance down, now I just need to improve my aim. I had a feeling I'd be good at this.
Me game?
Yes, Georgie, I believe this is your precious game.
Why, you broke it.
I did no such thing.
You did. I had it all solved and everything. And you went and broke it.
Georgie, I assure you it was that way when I found it.
Well, deal's off. And quit calling me Georgie. That's a baby name.
Then quit acting like a baby.
No. Fix it or no deal.
All right. Let me take a look.
Ain't so easy, is it?
Don't worry, George. I'll figure it out. Okay, it's solved.
Gimme!
Not so fast. Tell me where my mother is first. Fool me once.
I'll do you one better. I'll bring her to you.
Please don't be upset with me.
I'm not upset at you, Mother. I'm actually glad you're here.
Oh, my little girl. I knew you'd see the error of your ways.
Now wait just a minute. I didn't say anything about that. What you did was wrong, and meddling in my life is wrong. But I'm still happy to see you.
Anyway, Margie, I don't want to fight. I've just had this bad feeling about you, about your marriage, about this trip. God help me, I cannot do otherwise.
That as it may be, Mother, but I am my own woman. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to attend dinner with the captain. We can talk about this more in the morning. Are you all right? You don't look well.
Is it obvious? I'm afraid I've a rather nasty bout of seasickness.
Well, that's no great shakes. Come with me to the ship's hospital.
Margaret, I simply cannot be struck down by something as common as motion sickness. It would appear weak.
Then I'll get the medicine for you.
You're a dear, Margaret. Please hurry. I can't have the captain seeing me like this.
Hello, my dear. May I help you?
Oh, yes, Doctor. I'm not feeling well at all. I think I have a touch of seasickness. Do you have anything for me?
We do have a new pill that combats the more unpleasant effects. However, my prescription for you is a healthy amount of sea air. Why not take a stroll on the deck? You don't look so bad off.
The truth is, they're for my husband. He really is in bad shape.
Well then, let me come see him. We'll fix him right up.
No, he wouldn't like that at all.
I'm sorry. I cannot dispense this particular medication without direct cause. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have much to do. Excuse me, miss, but that instrument is for trained professionals only.
Hello there. Nice night, isn't it?
A bit nippy, but yes it is. Clear as a bell out.
I'm not sure what that's going to accomplish, but there you are.
You're a natural, Mrs. Duchamp. Oh, hello. I recognize you from the elevator. My name is Vincent Rossetti.
Yes. Off duty, are you?
Right. Thought I'd take a few moments to instruct the beautiful Mrs. Duchamp on the finer points.
I see.
Would you care to give it a try?
I might just do that. Thank you, Odette.
You want to aim for the front of the triangle for the highest score. Just give the puck a good shove.
Yes, thank you. Oops. It got away from me.
Did someone lose a puck? I almost stepped right on it.
Yes, I'm sorry. It was me.
No problem. No one was hurt. Here you are. Practice makes perfect.
Thank you. All that's left of my glass of water is a frozen disk of ice. I suppose as the water expanded, it shattered the glass. Fascinating how powerful something as simple as ice can be.
You want to aim for the front of the... Say, what kind of puck is that?
One of my own. Don't you know, Mr. Rossetti, a lady should never be caught without her own shuffleboard puck. me.
Ah! Oh!
That sounded like someone fell down. I'd better go check it out. Are you all right?
Oh! It's my ankle. I can't walk on it. It hurts so much. Ah!
You just wait right there. I'll fetch the doctor. Doctor!
Ma'am, as I've said, I'm quite busy here.
But there's been an injury. One of the officers slipped and fell on D-deck. He's in quite a bit of pain.
Oh, let me gather my things.
Hurry, Doctor! The space between the base and the door isn't wide enough. It doesn't fit. That made the space between the base and the door slightly wider. Let me see if I can hook the latch. Aha! That worked like a charm. Motion sickness pills. Take 2 if suffering from nausea and headaches. That should do it. Here you are, Robert. Take 2 immediately.
Thank heavens.
I'm not too late, am I? I don't see the captain.
No, you are just in time. Please, do sit.
I am here. All may now relax. I see the captain has not yet arrived, but I predict he will do so forthwith.
Nothing like going out on a limb, am I right? What sort of odds you giving the sun rising tomorrow?
Ah, the captain.
Greetings all. I'm so happy you were able to join me for dinner.
Let us toast to this magnificent ship, our able captain, and to a speedy and uneventful voyage.
Hear, hear.
Iceberg! Right ahead!
Icebergs are themselves nothing more than water. There's certainly nothing ostensibly threatening about them. But in the end, it is the unknown which threatens us most. What on earth was that? That sounded absolutely horrible. I must speak with Robert. I'll never get to sleep wondering what that noise was. The crank handle came loose. Oh well, this compartment could do with the fresh air. I think I'll leave my window open for a bit. Air the place out. If Robert's asleep, it will be difficult to wake him from out here. Why did he insist on separate cabins? Robert, are you in there? Why aren't you answering? I'm sorry to disturb you, Montague.
Not at all, Mrs. Ashley. I was not yet asleep when I heard a rather disturbing noise coming from just outside. I'm afraid it spooked Bexley. He's entrenched beneath the bed and will not come out.
Montague, do you have any idea where Mr. Ashley is? I've knocked on his stateroom door, but there's no answer.
Yes, Mr. Ashley was, well, rather soused, I'm afraid. He might have slept through the noise, or perhaps he simply didn't think it was worth rousing himself for.
And you? Did you think it was worth rousing yourself for?
I did indeed. Since I'm awake, I'm heading to the lounge. Might I bring Ma'am something back?
No, thank you, Montague. If you happen across Robert, would you kindly tell him I'm quite anxious to speak with him?
Of course. Although I wouldn't hold out much hope, Mrs. Ashley. I'm certain he is still in his bed. Perhaps you had best occupy your time conspiring to get his attention.
Short of sounding the ship's alarm, I'm not sure what I can do. But I will try, thank you, Montague. It's a perfect fit. I can just see into Robert's room if I lean out the window. I know what you're thinking. A leap is out of the question.
Oh, the smell. Let's see if I can find something here Bexley might find appetizing.
Look, Bexley, it's your favorite. Sardines.
That's a good girl. A good boy. I meant good boy. Heave-ho! Let the havoc commence.
Who let that blasted cat in here?
Aha! The master has awoken. Robert, are you awake?
Ugh, blasted cat. How on earth did he sneak into my cabin?
Oh, he's a crafty one, no mistake. Did you hear that horrible noise a little while ago?
Yes, it was awful. I almost threw him off the balcony. He has bells on his neck. What sort of fresh horror is that?
No, I meant before that. You didn't hear a scraping noise? It sounded like nothing I've ever heard.
Margie, this is Titanic. What could possibly go wrong? It was probably a small explosion from one of the furnaces. Nothing to get riled about. Let the stokers handle it. Now, I've got to get to bed. Good night. We'll talk in the morning.
Odd. That didn't reassure me at all. I think I'll go have a word with the captain. Perhaps he can set my mind at ease. Captain, may I disturb you for a moment?
Oh, Mrs. Ashley, we're a bit busy here.
Well, then let me get right to the point. Have we had a collision?
Mrs. Ashley, really, everything is under control. Rest assured that I will inform the passengers as soon as we have thoroughly evaluated the situation.
I'm sorry, it's just that I'm very worried.
Meet me in the sitting room in a moment and I will explain. Now, I've only a moment, Mrs. Ashley. In truth, you were correct.
We've hit something? I knew it. What was it?
An iceberg.
Are we going to sink?
Mrs. Ashley, you have to leave this in the hands of the crew. We are trained to handle these events. Now, please, I must get back to work.
Not sure I understand this, but some of it looks pretty straightforward. Excuse me?
I'm sorry, ma'am. You can't be in here. We're transmitting urgent communications.
Oh. And what might those communications be?
I'm sorry, ma'am. Confidential. Now, I really must ask you to leave.
Fine. This must be where Titanic receives wireless messages. Quite fascinating. Now, I know this machine was meant to receive messages from distant ships. I wonder if it would receive messages from this ship as well. Let's see if I can toss the ring over that whistle. I can't reach the steam whistle's pull cord. I wasn't named Miss Stow-on-the-Wold Fet Queen for my dressmaking skills alone. Let's see what sort of havoc this causes. Oh my! That was much louder than I expected.
All hands on deck! All hands on deck!
Oh, hello!
You didn't just blow the whistle, did you?
Of course not. A uniformed gentleman did. He went off, I don't know, that way. There sure do seem to be a lot of unused parts lying about here. Everything else there seems to be essential to the equipment in one way or another. I'd best leave it. Now that sounds interesting. If only I understood it. If only I understood it. MGY CQD 41N 50W? It would seem I've merely exchanged one code for another. I'd bet Mr. Tavalouris could help me decipher this, and he might know even more than the captain about the state of the ship. I'd best get you a mirror.
Ah, Mrs. Ashley. I thought perhaps I had not seen the last of you. Do, come in.
I'm not here to chat, Mr. Tavalouris. I'm here to get a straight answer from somebody on the state of this ship.
Whatever do you mean?
Is it possible you do not know? We collided with an iceberg not 20 minutes ago. The crew is in a frenzy.
I didn't hear anything, although I did wonder why we were reversing engines.
Nobody aboard will tell me the truth about our situation, so I contrived to eavesdrop on the ship's outgoing wireless messages. But I can't make heads or tails of them. Do you think you might?
This is a distress call. The captain believes the ship will sink. The iceberg must have breached several watertight containers. If that's true, the ship is sinking as we speak.
What am I supposed to do?
I don't know. If the ship is sinking, the bilge compartments will be the first to fill. There are several on this deck. Perhaps you could check on them while I do some more calculations.
Yes, fine. Where are these rooms?
Down the hall is the bilge assembly. It's a pump system that moves water between bilge compartments. From there are tunnels leading to each of the three main bilge holds: the squash court, the Turkish bath, and the third-class showers.
Why those rooms?
It's a question of volume, my dear girl. Those are the largest lower deck rooms aboard. Check all three and let me know if there's any water in them quickly.
I have my orders. I shouldn't be fiddling about with anything until I let Mr. Tavalouris know the status of those compartments. I can't get in there. It's completely flooded. The walls and floor are damp, but at least there's no standing water. The walls and floor are damp, but at least there's no standing water. I have my orders. I shouldn't be fiddling about with anything until I let Mr. Tavalouris know the status of those compartments. The squash court is completely flooded. I can't even go in there. The Turkish bath seems empty, but damp. Same with the third-class showers.
I see. It's worse than I expected.
What can we do?
Well, the first thing we have to do is stop this doomed vessel. I don't know why the captain is still reversing, but that will only hasten our taking on water. We must stop the engines.
How can we do that?
I have access to the main engine room from here. See if you can figure something out.
Me? Why not you?
I need to recalculate how much time we have left based on your bilge water observations. Just remember, even the most massive combustion engine will grind to a halt if the fuel has no oxygen to combust with. Find a way to clog the intakes.
Quite a mess. Let's see if there's anything here worth finding. Let's see what this ridiculous-looking contraption does. I don't think that's its intended use. These engines look massive enough to power an entire city. And come to think of it, they practically do. I certainly hope Mr. Tavalouris was right. The engines have been stopped.
According to my calculations, we should remain afloat for an hour and a half. Do what you must to survive, Mrs. Ashley. If you need me, I'll be here.
What? Aren't you going to make a run for the lifeboats?
I think not. We do not have a full ship's complement, in case you were not aware. No, I will not waste precious lifeboat space with my own tattered husk. I shall remain here. Perhaps there's something yet I can do. Good luck, Mrs. Ashley.
And you, Mr. Tavalouris. Most of the passengers are, as of yet, unaware of their fate. The air outside is clear and still. It is, to many, a seemingly ideal evening. I'd like to think my choice to put my own family first wasn't cowardly as much as practical. A panic at this point would simply compound disaster. I struggled with this guilt. Robert! I've been looking all over for you. You weren't in your room.
Nor were you. Montague told me you were looking for me, so I went down to your room. Alas, my lady, she was not there.
Robert, have you been drinking?
Not nearly enough. In fact, the waiter has yet to return with my Bermuda highball. I wonder what's keeping him.
It doesn't matter. Listen to me. We have to get to a lifeboat. Immediately.
Margie, I love you. But you do have a rather alarmist track record. It's absolutely freezing outside. I'd much rather sip my drink inside if, in fact, they ever bring it to me.
At the very least, let me show you what's going on below deck. You won't need to set a foot outside, I promise you. Please, Robert.
I'm not going anywhere until I get my Bermuda highball. And I'm 2 sheets up, so the stairs are right out.
Off duty again, I see.
Oh, hello again. No, not off duty. Just on different duty. We're having a problem with the port crane. It seems to be jammed. Starboard one's fine, but the port one, I was told unjamming it is the highest priority.
That crane's used to lower lifeboats into the water, isn't it?
What? No, this is merely a precautionary measure. Can't be too careful.
Very well, live in denial. In any case, I need you to accompany me to the lift.
I'm afraid I can't do that, ma'am. Strict orders.
If I help you unjam the crane, will you take me where I need to go?
Well, sure. And good luck to you. I can't budge it.
No, that won't work.
One Bermuda highball. I've half a mind to down it myself. The lift is out of order? That could be a problem.
Perhaps there's something I can use here.
The crane grumbled to life. Perhaps now I can use the controls to move it.
Apparently, I underestimated you.
You're hardly the first. Now, about our deal.
Yes, of course. But I'm still under orders to begin unloading boats. I'll meet you at the elevator and send you to whatever floor you wish. But I must return here immediately after.
That will be fine. Here's your blasted drink, Robert. Will you come to the elevators now?
Perfect. So be it. I will meet milady there, if that will make her happy.
The only thing that would make me happy at this point would be dry land. E-deck, please.
One of you will have to hold the door to prevent it from closing once you reach E-deck.
Not to worry, garçon. I will disavow my good lady wife of any of her idle fantasies without leaving the comforts of the lift.
All right then, E-deck. I hope you find what you're looking for.
Funny. I hope she doesn't. By the way, my good man, is there a bar on E-deck?
What just happened? Robert, are you okay? He's still breathing. He must have hit his head when the elevator jerked to a halt. I need to find a way out of here. And I need to wake him up. of the doors? Nothing. Oh, how am I going to get to Robert now? It's difficult to imagine all this will soon be on the ocean floor. Guess it doesn't matter if I abscond with this. When merit is left, honor our rights. What an odd inscription. Honor and merit revealed through time. Absolute gibberish. Ah, Mr. Tavalouris, your cleverness never ceases to amaze. On call? That just won't do. That got some rather pent-up aggression out. Whatever is in this bottle smells strongly of mint.
I need to use that in a different way.
Robert! He still isn't waking up. I'll have to try using something a little more potent. Oh. Robert, can you hear me?
Oh, what happened to me?
You hit your head. The elevator stopped pretty suddenly. Oh, Robert, I thought I might lose you.
Don't be silly. My head is killing me. I think I need a drink.
That's the last thing you need. What more evidence do you need that Titanic is in serious trouble?
What? Little electrical malfunction, that's all. I think I'll take the stairs all the same, though. Am I right?
Where are you going?
Back to the lounge. It's above decks. If you're really worried about the ship sinking, you don't want to be down here.
My mother, she's down in steerage.
Just hold still. If you don't hold still, it will only get worse.
I want me mum.
Just what is going on here?
This blighter George was down here goofing around instead of heading above deck. One of the port boilers exploded and the steam burned his leg up a treat.
Doctor, is he going to be okay?
Yes, he's fine. But I need to dress his wound and he won't stop squirming about like an eel.
Mom!
There's nothing for it, ma'am. He's in too much pain. I need you to fetch some hot water. Very hot, mind you. If I'm to dress his wounds here, I'll need to be as sanitary as possible.
Of course.
I'll also need some liniment to dull the pain, or he'll never keep still.
I used to play jacks as a child. We couldn't afford much else in the way of entertainment. I'll just hold on to them. It's one of the boilers powering Titanic. This one looks as if it might still function. The room underneath must be entirely flooded. It's full of coal. I'd take some, but the chunks are jagged and rough, and I'd make quite a mess of myself. That isn't its intended purpose. This could prove useful in giving me a source of heat. I can't do that. Yet. I've nothing left to accomplish here. That isn't its intended purpose. A tidy mound of coal. Now I just need something to spark them with. It's a broken fuse box. It looks as if several of the connections got knocked loose. See, if I had something to bridge the gaps, I might be able to get it working again. Those jacks I found were metal. Maybe I can use them to bypass the missing fuses. There we are. Now there should be a nice steady flow of electricity.
This should calm him down some, but I'll still need some hot water to reduce the risk of infection. There we are. How do you feel now, George?
Like spitting.
Now, George, the doctor was only helping you. You need to get above deck immediately. Quit playing about down here.
Menkaw Ray, the mummy. Don't you see? It's his curse. He's visiting an ancient score, settling it once and for all the raiders who looted his sacred tomb.
It's coincidence, Odette, nothing more. Now please, come with me above deck. We need to get to the lifeboats.
It doesn't matter. You can't trick the ancients. We're all doomed, no matter what we do.
You are impossible. Let me have a look inside that crate. Now, this looks interesting.
Yes, that's the file, Invulnerable. It's said to contain the true spirit of Men-Kau Ray and is reported to be unbreakable.
I bet I could break it. Robert always said I had a knack for breaking things.
You could certainly try, if the curse doesn't frighten you.
This looks like a good place to use something.
That won't do anything. The pulleys aren't even attached to the dumbwaiter.
This looks like a good place to use something.
The dumbwaiter is already as low as it will go. The dumbwaiter is already as low as it will go. One vat of potatoes going down. What a racket! The file wasn't so invulnerable after all. Let's see what they were so intent on protecting. Clever people, those ancient Egyptians. There's a parchment inside. It's covered in hieroglyphs. Shame I'm not an Egyptian scholar. Odette, can you translate this for me?
You opened the file?
Yes. It was difficult, I admit, but clearly not impossible.
It says, to those who thought they captured the essence of Men-Kau Ray, know that you are fools to a man. You possess nothing more than the dressed-up corpse of a chamber servant. Men-Kau Ray's true burial chamber remains forever hidden from the eyes of the living. But that means...
To put it lightly, this isn't Men-Kau Ray after all.
But the curse...
To put it lightly, poppycock.
Oh, how can I be expected to process 2 paradigm shifts in one day?
You aren't. Just come with me, please, Odette. Montague, what are you doing here?
Ma'am, Robert sent me to look for you. He is worried and wishes you to join him above deck.
Have you seen my mother?
Yes. In fact, she was looking for you as well. The lines are crossed, as it were.
Oh, that's fine. We can meet them both above deck.
Beg pardon, ma'am, but it seems this method of egress has been blocked.
We have to find a way through this gate. I may know someone who can help. You two stay here. I don't want us all getting lost trying to find each other again. Did you hear that?
It sounded like a woman screaming for help.
We must go to her aid.
Montague, while I appreciate your chivalry, please do not forget the lady in your care already.
Of course, ma'am. How could I forget you?
I don't mean me, Montague. I mean Miss Duchamp.
Hey, I don't need a guardian. In fact, it could be argued that I should be the scout in this situation. Why, my experience in the plains of Hadar alone...
Odette, please. Moments ago you were under the delusion that you were cursed and drowned by a mummy.
Oh, is someone there?
Yes. Janeck, is that you?
Oh, my prayers were answered. I thought I was left here to die.
Was that you screaming?
I was singing a song of distress.
It worked.
Yes, well, there remains the matter of that fire. And my leg.
What's wrong with your leg?
I think it's broken. I was trampled by ragamuffins. I came here to find a doctor, but who knows where he's off to.
Okay, I've got the picture. Let me see what I can do to help you out. It folds neatly into a thin plank. Quite convenient, really. This ivy looks real, but it's actually made of cloth and wire. The servers here should be more careful when they uncork the wine. It seems they just let the corks lie where they fall. I can't abide that. Not enough cork to build a lifeboat out of, but perhaps I'll find some use for them. I don't know much about wine, but it's clear to me that these aren't in the proper order. Let's see if I can fix that. That looks more orderly. And look at this poor fellow down at the end. Old, almost empty, improperly stored. Surely vinegar by now. I can't stand to see him suffer. I'm taking him with me. I can't do that. Yet. No, that won't work. Not now, perhaps later. Now isn't the time. Not now, I poured the vinegar into the mason jar. Oh, that would cause the reaction I'm looking for. But if I... The corks are all floating on top of the vinegar. If I give that a good shake, the baking soda and vinegar will mix, making a right mess. I must be sure to handle this with care. The ink made marks on the paper, but they look meaningless to me. Now there are more letters on the paper, but I still can't make heads or tails of them. Ah, now the picture is complete. It reads, I am available to you from noon to 3 and from 9 till midnight. For whatever that's worth. If I had just waited a little longer, the ocean would have put this fire out for me.
What? Why do you say that? Is there something wrong with the ship?
You know, for someone who prides himself on his foresight, you possess remarkably little. The ship is sinking. Can we get out of here now, please?
Yes, of course. I mean, no, we can't. I can't even stand. My leg is in bad shape.
You're impossible, you know that. Let me see if I can cobble together some sort of crutch or splint.
At last! We must make haste.
Of course. By the way, you're welcome.
I shall thank you properly once we are safely above deck.
I shall stay here with Odette, ma'am. Pray, be careful.
I can't believe you brought up the whole mummy thing. Can't we let the past lie?
I humbly redirect the question back to you.
Touché.
Hurry! I am seeing terrible events come to pass if we do not leave soon.
Cottoning on to that, are ya?
It appears to be locked.
Another mirror door solved. Mr. Tavalouris, we're trying to get above deck, but someone has locked the gate outside the mirror door at the second-class stairwell.
Yes, that was me.
Why on earth would you do that?
I didn't think there was anyone left down here. And I didn't want people coming back down for their favorite hairbrush or something equally trivial. You shouldn't be down here either, you know. Women and children first.
I'm looking for my mother.
Not a hairbrush, yet still, in a situation like this, you have to trust your mother's intelligence will guide her to the boat deck, just like yours should guide you.
I know, it's just... we didn't part on the greatest of terms.
Look, here's the gate key. Take it, and take my advice as well. Get to the boat deck post-haste.
Mrs. Ashley, I'm glad to see you are all right. When I saw your husband come by without you a few moments ago, it was cause for concern.
You saw my husband? When?
Minutes ago. He headed towards the fore of the ship with much intent. He seemed upset.
How about my mother? Have you seen my mother?
She went aft about 10 minutes ago.
Thank you, Vincent. George? What are you doing here?
Punching!
Yes, I can see that. You do that well. But you need to get to a lifeboat. This isn't the time to play.
They wouldn't let me in here before. Now they said stay here.
What? Someone told you to stay here? Who was that?
Man in them shippy clothes. Said another skip would be coming for me.
When did this happen?
Couple minutes ago. Fine by me, I says. I'm punching.
This won't do at all. I must tell one of the crew.
Ma'am, you shouldn't be up here. You should be in a lifeboat.
You haven't seen my husband, have you?
Mr. Ashley? No, I haven't. Not for some time.
If you do see him, please tell him I'm looking for him.
I will do that, ma'am.
Yes?
I wish you'd never found your boarding pass.
Thank you, Thomas.
Please, Mrs. Ashley, I have everything here under control. Get to the lifeboats as quickly as you can.
Captain, I don't think you understand what I'm offering you here.
And I've told you, Mr. Ashley, I have equal concern for all passengers aboard. I cannot single out any person.
What about women? What about children? They are singled out, aren't they?
No, Mr. Ashley, I know you're upset, but...
I'd just as soon not hear anymore.
Mrs. Ashley, you must listen.
I know, lifeboats, but there's a child in the gymnasium and he won't leave. He said he was told to wait in the gym until a crew member came to get him.
A child?
8 at most.
Blast. I'd best fetch him. Please, don't disturb the captain while I'm gone. He's in his sitting room trying to strategize a way out of this mess.
Yes, that would be best. These keys must have fallen from their pegs when Titanic lurched. I'm sure I could find a use for at least one of them. Now, if I only knew where any of these keys went. Maybe I can disable the flow of oil to the aft funnel. My knack for breaking things is unrivaled. How am I going to match these keys with their proper pegs? I'm sorry, Thomas. It would seem disturbing the captain is my destiny.
Margaret, what are you doing in here?
Mrs. Ashley, you should be in a lifeboat.
I should ask the both of you what you're doing in here.
The captain and I were just having a discussion about ship's policy. Tedious stuff.
I'm not a fool, Robert.
Of course not. Look, Margaret, the situation on board is grave.
You think I don't know that? I've known that for ages. I tried to tell you, but you were too busy downing drinks to listen.
If you'll both excuse me, I have duties to attend to.
Margaret, please. Now is not the time.
Well, you're right about that, at least. Meet me at the grand staircase. I'll join you there momentarily. We can discuss this further then.
Yes, all right.
I could stand to vent a little aggression. I don't know my own strength. Say, I didn't know they filled these things with sand. I can't get enough sand to be of any use. It just slips through my fingers. Mother!
Margaret!
I've been searching for you. Where have you been?
There was a terrible explosion. It knocked me flat on the ground. When I got up, all this oil was flowing from the chimney. I can't cross it. It'd take me overboard. Don't you try either, dear. Save yourself.
It's no purse, but it will have to do. There. Just fritting the path like winters in Somerset.
Oh, me darling girl.
Mother, I need you to stop running about the ship. We need to organize and get into a lifeboat as soon as possible.
Oh, I agree, but...
No buts, no excepts. Now, please, just do as I say, Mother. Get to the ground staircase and stay there. I'll meet you there soon.
If I must.
At last! I have you both in the same place at the same time. We need to get to a lifeboat immediately.
Margaret, I hate to rain on your parade, but I don't think it's quite that simple.
And just how would you know that, Mother?
Actually, Margaret, dear, I must agree with your mother.
What?
Well, getting to lifeboats is a grand idea, but we all know there are far more people aboard than boats. And we need an edge. We can't just hope to be lucky. I have quite a repository of cash in my room. It might just mean the difference between a spot on a boat and a spot on the sea floor.
And I need to retrieve my heart medication, or I could die either way.
What? You mean we have to go all the way down to steerage?
It isn't in steerage.
Well, where is it then?
In the hospital. They wouldn't let me carry it with me.
Well, we don't have time to do both. We have to split up. I'll come with one of you.
Which one?
I'll come with you, Robert. Mother has a much better chance of getting into a lifeboat alone being a woman. Perhaps my presence will increase your odds.
That's likely true. So it's settled. Goodbye, Margaret. I love you.
I love you too, Mother. Get to a boat, quickly. I'll wait out here, Robert. Don't be long.
Of course, this shouldn't take a second. Wait. Why? Why is the door to my cabin locked?
Maybe one of the staff closed it to prevent people coming back to their rooms.
That's brilliant. My only hope of survival lies behind that blasted door.
Calm down, Robert. I'll see what I can do. Nobody's answering. I think the staff locked all the doors once they were sure nobody was inside. Thomas!
Margaret, Mrs. Ashley, why aren't you in a boat yet?
I need to get into my husband's stateroom.
Good luck with that. They're locking all the doors as they clear people out. They don't want anyone going back after a trinket.
It's no trinket I'm after. Do you have the key to my husband's stateroom?
Me? No, I was in charge of staff rooms only. I have the key to the galley.
Can I have it?
Oh, well, I suppose so.
Thank you, Thomas. Key, meet door. What a sorry state the kitchen is in. It looks like a tornado's been through here. This knife will cut through just about anything. I'll just pocket the nozzle. That isn't its intended... It appears to be locked. Now where did Robert get off to? A tad unconventional, but you must admit it got the job done. This place is falling apart.
No, that won't work.
The jet of water doused the fire. Still a bit warm.
That's the lockbox where Robert keeps his money. Without the key, I'll need to find another way to open it.
I was able to pry open the lockbox, but the force has thrown the banknotes all over the room. Robert, where have you been?
You disappeared. I thought you came back up here, but I couldn't find you anywhere. Did you find my money?
Yes, it was in your room.
Well, let's have it.
Here. It's all that was in there.
Excellent. This should do the trick.
Mrs. Ashley, there's a boat with a space that needs filling. You'd best step on over to the threshold.
What about my husband, Robert?
Women and children first, ma'am.
Don't you worry, Margie. Go on ahead. Young Thomas and I are going to have a little chat.
Are you sure, Robert?
I've talked my way out of worse. Don't give it another thought. Just stay warm.
I will. Please stay safe, Robert. I couldn't live without you.
Nor I you, my dear. Now get going. They won't hold that place for you forever.
Goodbye, Robert.
I'll see you soon, Mrs. Ashley.
I always thought I needed a powerful husband to lift me from my meager beginnings into something grander. I never thought I might do it on my own. But she always had faith in me. She always told me I could do or be anything I wanted. And I know that in her heart, she really believed that to be true. She couldn't have been more wrong. My mother was gone, but perhaps I could still pick up the pieces. I had Robert, and I had my newly christened sisterhood, those who survived. There, shivering in those lifeboats, our eyes transfixed by the horror before us. We were attending a mass funeral for those who were not yet dead. It was our lot to remember them to the rest of the world.
I'll go with you, Mother. Robert is capable of taking care of himself. I'm not so sure you are.
That settles it, I suppose.
Don't mope, Robert. You'll be fine. Just act fast and get to a lifeboat.
Oh, these stairs. They're devilish.
This gate is locked. I'll have to find a way through. Can you soldier on a bit?
I think I should stay here. I'm not feeling well.
Is it your pills?
Maybe. I'll just sit here. Wait for you. Remember, white round pills. Glass bottle.
Got it. I'll be as quick as I can. The rowing machine won't work without the seat, but that hardly matters anymore. It's too heavy to lift. I can roll it, but not with any kind of speed. Whew! Even lifting the medicine ball those few inches was near impossible. I'm sorry, Dean, but it had to be done. These tunnels look like they go on forever. I'd best take care not to get lost. A note. It reads, I've left myself to the fates. I didn't play it straight, and by all rights deserve what I get. Cryptic, but also quite disturbing. Get it open. And the glass is too thick to break without some help. Never thought I'd be spending so much time in hospital at my age. With all this water in here, there's too much pressure on the door for me to open it. I'll have to find another way to get Mother's medication. Thomas!
Margaret! I mean, Mrs. Ashley, why aren't you in a boat yet?
There's something I need to find below deck first.
That won't be easy. They're locking all the doors as they clear people out. They don't want anyone going back after a trinket.
It's no trinket I'm after. It's my mother's heart medicine.
Well, make haste, Mrs. Ashley. Time is of the essence. I will do what I can to reserve you a spot.
If your property needs destroying, kindly contact Mrs. Margaret Ashley, Vandal at Large. In other circumstances, I'd have called that a bit of fun. At last, Mother's medicine. I'd best get it to her immediately. Here are your pills, Mother.
Thank you, Margie.
Now we have to get to the lifeboats as quickly as possible. Thomas, I believe we're ready to board a boat now.
Of course. Follow me, Mrs. Ashley.
Thomas, you haven't seen my husband, have you?
I can't say I have, ma'am. But please, don't lose hope. Mr. Ashley is nothing if not resourceful.
And you'll find yourself a spot, won't you, Thomas?
I have my spot already, ma'am. Now, please, there isn't much time.
I had worked so hard to get what I thought I wanted. A powerful husband who could lift me from my meager beginnings to something grander. With one lapse in judgment, it was gone. Robert had our entire lives set up for us once we arrived in New York Harbor. I suppose now I'll have to pick up the pieces. Perhaps I'll learn something in the process. I knew that once we reached America, I wouldn't feel alone. Besides my mother, I had my newly christened sisterhood. Those who survived. There, shivering in those lifeboats, our eyes transfixed by the horror before us. We were attending a mass funeral for those who were not yet dead. It was our lot to remember them to the rest of the world.
So many things went wrong aboard Titanic. Many believe we were ill-fated, doomed right from the start. I don't agree. A man makes his own fate. The mistakes leading to the Titanic disaster were simple, straightforward, and easily remedied, like so many things are with the benefit of hindsight. If I could go back, what would I change? What would I do differently? Where would I even begin? Enough gunk has coaled the surface of these gloves home that they could probably withstand a bite or two. Let's just move Snappy out of the way. Rule 1 of seamanship: don't stick unprotected hands into the jaws of an eel. This was Titanic's accelerator. It controlled the amount of coal stoked, and thus the amount of power sent to the turbines. It's missing the hinge. There. Still fits, even after all this time. We shouldn't have been running full steam in waters we knew to be notorious for icebergs. That much is certain. Had we decreased our speed by half, even if nothing else had been changed, the iceberg impact would not have been likely to breach more than 1 or 2 bulkheads, and we could have stayed afloat for days. We wouldn't have lost a single person. We might not have even lost Titanic at all. This is how it goes. Determining a ship's course is far from an exact science, but science does play its part. Currents, weather systems, and other fairly predictable impediments are accounted for as much as possible. Without a doubt, crossing so near Newfoundland was a concession made for the sake of time. A more southerly route would have presented far fewer hazards at the cost of a few additional hours of travel. The risk was deemed acceptable by those at a higher pay grade than I. I've collected all the course plotting pins. Now put them back where they were before Titanic sunk. Or rather, where they should have been. This is the map we used to plot our initial course, and all subsequent course changes and corrections. I could have made such a course change, but in all honesty there was no predictive cause for it. Had we received a warning message by wireless, it would have been done without question. But there was no such message, and so we plowed ahead, full steam towards our collective fate. At the time of Titanic's fateful voyage, the wireless radio was still considered a newfangled contraption. No sailor worth his salt relied on them much. They were an adjunct, not a necessity. This was short-sightedness on our part. The wireless transmitter and receiver aboard Titanic was not even owned by the White Star Line. It was owned by a private company, and it was their charge to serve the passengers, not the crew. When forced to choose between relaying a message about the stock market to an investor or a message about weather conditions, the missive to the passenger was always given priority. And so it was that we missed an important message in regard to icebergs in our direct path. This chute runs directly to the wheelhouse. A recommended course change. You would think this message would have warranted some serious attention. Had we received that message, Titanic would have almost certainly made it to New York Harbor without incident. I cannot blame the Marconi operators. They were simply following their own orders. The system was to blame. And although the tragedy of Titanic was instrumental in fixing the very system that doomed her, it is the wish of every captain that such cautionary tales not be woven on their watch. So it goes. Titanic's outer hull was comprised of thousands of sheets of riveted steel. It was quite literally a patchwork of metal. It sounds a little disconcerting, but this was the only method of shipbuilding on that scale available at the time. Had the rivets been hot-stamped, that is to say, had the steel that they were driven into been heated after they were stamped, the joints between plates wouldn't have been so susceptible to the cracks that allowed the ice to penetrate as deeply as it did. Just another simple step that could have saved hundreds of lives. A captain should know his ship well enough to see that isn't its proper use. That's where they belong, but they need something substantial to keep them in place under the pressure. This seems like it should have been standard procedure. Titanic was separated into 15 watertight bulkheads, but the word watertight is a little misleading. They were really only watertight from bow to stern. The tops were open, like gigantic cups. Titanic could have remained afloat indefinitely with breaches in 4 of the 15. But even with 5 breaches, Titanic should have stayed afloat well into the next day. The real problem that night was one of location. The breaches occurred in the first 5 contiguous bulkheads at the front of the ship. This caused the bow of the ship to dip down enough that water spilled over the top wall of the next bulkhead in line. This caused a domino effect. The bow dipped further down, allowing the next bulkhead to be breached, and so on. In retrospect, it was hubris that did Titanic in. From the financiers who didn't see the need for high-grade steel in the bulkheads, down to the very passengers themselves, who simply couldn't believe their world could be so easily crushed by nature's caprice. But it was I who sinned most egregiously. In the end, I was charged with navigating Titanic from Southampton to New York. But the sea was so calm, the air so clear, the atmosphere on board so very charged with excitement. There was a singular, palpable glee infecting us all alike, from the reclining elite on the upper decks to the suited, sweaty firemen toiling in the bows. We were all taking part in history. We were the envy of the rest of the world. Hubris. We never stood a chance.